Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out tonight. Can I have a motion from the members to open up the annual quarterly meeting on May 5th, 2025 at 7:03? Motion, can you just give me your name? Thank you, Carrie. Can I have a second? Name? Debbie? All right, thank you. Tom, can you do the roll call, please?
Tom Haskell.
Here?
Sandy Acamano. Judy Bateman. Tom Stroch is here. Tim Ring. Here. Glenn Wilder. Here. Sue Farrell.
Thank you, Tom. The Secretary's report?
Good evening, everybody. This meeting is being held in compliance with the provisions of an open public meeting act, and the notice of the quarterly meeting was published in the April and May issue of the Leisure Village News, which has been mailed to every resident.
Thank you, Tom. Can I have a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes? Thank you, Carrie. Second? Thank you, Tina. Okay, we have our supervisors here tonight. They'll be here to give you a report for the past quarter. We'll start off with Gina Potter from our accounting department.
Good evening, everyone. Our fiscal year 2024 annual audit by our CPA firm has been completed. Once the board approves it, you may obtain a copy from Appfolio, the library, or from the administration office. Skip, our accountant, will be scheduled to come in and recap what was reported, and as well answer any questions you may have. As of March, we have resumed funding our reserves, and catch-up payments began in April. The catch-up amount will be fully transferred within the next 6 months, by November. Our collections associate, Joanne, Judy, and myself meet monthly to monitor delinquent accounts and review our attorney's collections report and recommendations. Last quarter to date, we have collected almost $130,000 in arrears in-house and almost $93,000 with our attorney. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions for Gina? Just please come up to the mic and...
So we are now, what had happened was we had to hold off on funding the reserves because of our insurance premium. So we started contributing again in March. So I have, so monthly we contribute $152,458.34 for our cap replacement. Fixed assets is $20,833.34. And preventative maintenance is $8,333.34. Our catch-up payments, if you would like to know, monthly, for the replacement fund, it's $76,229.17. Fixed assets is $10,416.67, and the preventative maintenance is $4,166.67. I can give you the totals on the catch-ups that we missed out on the 3 months, if you'd like that. Okay.
very top.
Hello? Okay. Kathy Doherty, 622A. Can you tell me, do we have any rent receivers left, and where are we with them?
We do have rent receivers left. I do not have that report, but I can absolutely get it for you if you request it through the administration office.
How many? Do you know how many?
I don't know offhand.
They go through county, right?
Yes.
I can answer that. So we have one active rent receiver. We had two this year, but the tenant moved out in March. So presently, we're just renting out one of the units.
Okay, and then we don't anticipate having any more.
Right now, it's not in the works. It's certainly something that we can continue to consider if, on a case-by-case basis. But we do have two units that we're fixing up for sale that were previously rent receiverships.
I mean, I hope we don't consider them, because we've got to give the guy who runs this 10% off the top, right? Right?
Yes, there is a percentage that goes to the rent receiver. But you're better off having a tenant in there, at least paying towards those arrearages.
Well, I understand, we're better not having anybody fall behind. You all know what a rent receiver is, right? Tom, you want to explain it?
Okay, the process is this. We have various types of collections we have out here. So you have situations where the unit owner falls behind on their association fees. And there could be situations where the unit is still occupied or no longer occupied. In those situations, if there's a mortgage on it and it's not occupied, a lot of times we'll talk to the board, talk to council, if it's a viable option for rent receivership. And what you do is you still have to go through all the foreclosure process. But once you get to that point, then you petition the courts for a rent receiver, and they appoint a third party to put a tenant in there and collect the rents on it. The idea is to keep that account from accruing a larger debt, keep it stabilized, keep that income coming in during the rest of the collection measures.
We tried to get rid of the rent receiver. We went to court. Wilson and I went to court and said, Easy Village West does their own. We have an accounting, we have this, can we not have our own? And the judge said, no. So we wouldn't have to pay anybody 10%. We could do it ourselves if you were.
Good evening, Richard Parker, 20B. You were very thorough in how you explained it. The last month, Judy, or the last meeting we had, we were getting the assessment for $352 because we didn't put into that fund for December, January, February, and March. Now the statement was now we're making the assessments over April and May. Why is it taking until November to refill that reserve?
So
Why
the
is it taking until November to fill that reserve when the reason for the assessment was to totally catch up with the reserve? Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. I'm just saying. That's what you said last month.
The reason for the assessment was for the increase in our insurance.
Yes.
It had nothing to do with the reserves, so we did not contribute to the reserves so that we could pay the insurance until we got the assessment passed.
I think that's fair, and I'm good with that. I just wanted to make sure. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Seeing no other questions for Gina, thank you so much, Gina. Next up is Frankie Rodriguez, our Buildings and Grounds Manager.
Good evening, everyone. We'll start with projects being done and future projects. So right now we're at 90% of putting all the stop signs up. That 90% of them were all faded out, so you wasn't able to see them. The fountain is up and running. The boats are in. The guys are working on the pools for this month. Power washing is going to be up to the board, the new board that comes in, so I don't have a date when that's going to start. Roof Masters here, they've done 6 buildings, 34 units. And then they're scheduling for painting the parking spots throughout the village. And there's a bunch of flags that I know you guys seen on Dorchester and Buckingham. That is JCP&L, they're in here. Wiring, you have Verizon in here, you have MUA in here. So since the weather has broken, there's a lot of companies that are in here starting to work. MUA building, they started cleaning up that section by the 700 area when you first come in, that new pump house. And year to date on work tickets, we have 2,781 tickets that were submitted. 2,724 were done, and there's 57 that are open right now. Any questions?
Sharon Wagner, 684A Plymouth Drive. Frankie, is it your department that is responsible to repair the pathway lights?
Yes.
Okay, so can you explain to me, I sent an email to the board, I didn't include you, but why are your men coming out and when they can't find the problem or the solution to the problem for a pathway light, they just yank it out of the ground now? And you want to come over to my house tomorrow? I'll take you and show you every pathway light that they've removed. But more alarming is that they leave wires sticking up out of the ground. And 6 years ago, my dog stepped on a live wire and got thrown through the air. I don't want to see that happen again with the dog I have now. This is unbelievable to me that they would do that. And I sent a picture to the board and it's still like that.
So you're saying the electrician ripped out the lights?
There are 3 lights on Plymouth.
Okay.
That when I requested all those lights to be turned back on and fixed, they were.
Right.
And then all of a sudden I noticed, wow, there's a light missing over here. When they can't fix the light, they take the light out of the ground. And there's one right there where the wires are sticking up out of the ground. I submitted a picture to these clowns and not a thing was done about it.
Well, since you maybe send it to the wrong people. Why send it to the board when you sent it to Shirley?
Because you know what? I'm sending it to the people that should be telling you how to do your job.
Okay.
Our manager doesn't tell you, the board doesn't tell you.
We know how to do our job. So if you submit the photos or make a simple phone call, it'll be taken care of.
It's not my job. It's your person's job to do their job the right way, not leave an area with live wires sticking up in the ground.
Yeah, I don't think.
Don't make excuses for them, Frankie. Have them do their job. You wonder why I come to these meetings and they get aggravated. This is why.
Thank you, Ms. Wagner. Thank you very much.
Terry Pazienza, 528. I'm fine with the JCP&L upgrades. I understand that they have a whole secondary line from their transformers that hasn't worked in years, and if they have a problem now, there's nothing to switch to. So they're putting in another line to cover that. My other markup that I see on my street, I live on Portsmouth, the back side of my garage has freshly been marked out for water and sewer. I'm assuming that's MUA.
Correct.
What exactly are they doing? Are they going to dig up the whole driveway and street to replace the water and sewer lines, or what's their project?
Well, the project was, when they came in here to tell you about what the water's gonna be, with the bills, with the sprinklers and stuff, they sent a person out here to check to see if there was any leakage in the village. So they had a person from South Carolina to come down here to see if he can find any leakage within the village.
Well, my front lawn that's on the main street is soggy all the time. The whole drought we've had, you can sink in my front yard. So there's obviously a leak someplace there, but there's nothing marked out on that side. It's marked out on my other side of the driveway. So I'd just like to know if they're gonna be digging up the road for the cul-de-sac coming in and the driveways, and then where are we gonna park then?
Nope, that's just the guy checking out to see if he can find any water running.
But it's a clear mark out. I know what the markouts look like. It's, as I say, leak here, all the lines are marked out.
Well, he's marking what he's done, so village is big, so he's not gonna run in one area and just look at the area. He's gonna mark out what he has checked within the village. The whole village is checked. not only your unit.
Okay, so how do you know where the leaks are, what they're gonna do?
That's what-
Or that's all on them and you
That's
have
all,
nothing to do with
that's
that?
all on them. So when they find something, they'll let us know and we'll let you know.
And if it turns out to be the sprinkler systems that's leaking,
So then
it's not a main water line,
then we'll fix it.
okay, when are we gonna put the sprinklers on?
I think Wes will touch up on that when he comes up.
Because again, you're gonna have a question about the sprinklers, right, with the irrigation and us paying for it.
Correct.
So we don't need it every day, we could do it every 2 days.
Yep, Wes will go over that.
We alternate which sections get watered, right?
Yep.
Hi, I'm Dory, 334B. With GCP now coming in and doing the work that they're doing, will that take care of the street lights that are all out, that have been out for over a year?
Hopefully, everything is marked out for them to be repaired, so it was marked out 6 months ago and nothing has been done, so hopefully this year, they'll be doing it.
Who's responsible for making sure it's done?
JCP now.
No, who? Is it your department? Is it Tom? Who's? Oh, okay, all right, so it will be getting taken care of. As we know, it's pitch black coming down Buckingham.
Yep.
It's pitch black on Dorchester as well. Yep. So, thank you.
Good evening, how's everybody doing? My name is Melvin Durham, I live at 308C, Malvern Court. And coming up on 3 years here next month. Seeing some of the things I couldn't see when I moved in. If you go on Malvern Court, east or west, and you keep going around the circle, it seems like you leave the United States and you go to Guatemala. Excuse my expression, but the fence has been there since 1968. And it's got barbed wire like it's going over a prison wall or something. And not for nothing, but I pay my dues like everybody else. I see that the front part of this place is immaculate. And you advertise that this is a nice place to live, it's clean, it's this and that. Well, where I'm living, and I pay the same taxes, I pay the same HOA fees as everybody else. When I come out my door, I don't want to feel like I'm living in the slums of Guatemala, Asbury Park. I could stay somewhere else. I thought this was going to be nice. I wish there was some way we could take a look at maybe repairing the fence, maybe put some slats in there or something, or put some white vinyl fence. I don't care. You know, I mean, give me the authorization to do it just for my little section. I'll do that because it's horrible. It's an eyesore. And there's a couple of trees down there. I understand the trees, you know, the trees that have been cut lately. It's a tree that messed up everything over my house and the wick and everything when it rains or when it's just in the summertime, sap and everything. It's just eyesore also. So like I said, I'm Melvin Durham. Look at that name, 308C Malvern Court. I'll be back next month.
Thank you, Melvin.
Gene Nyberg, 352A. I do a lot of walking around the whole village, and everywhere I go, on every street, I see flakes and bits of the yellow paint that were just painted last spring for the yellow curbing. Here's an example, and on the back it's all dirty, so I'm assuming that they just painted over the dirt. I know that this is not your purview, it's an outside vendor that did it, but you are Buildings and Grounds, so I am presenting this to you as a token.
Hello, Kathy Corey again, 622 Lane. Since the issue Richie Meyer in the back is hiding, and I go out on safety and security at least once a month and write down all the lights. Richie knows them by number. There's 432, there's 337, and I send them over to JCP&L. Last month they said they were just about all fixed. I don't think so, so I keep sending the list. Now my question is, what are you doing about the black lights and the mushroom? My neighbor called me, he said, we have 3 of them. The A unit's mine, it's fine. B, C, and D. D is locked off, laying there dead, and the other 2 are not working. So I called Shirley not once, not twice, but 3 times and said, what are you doing? So finally somebody came up and started to work on the B unit, wound up leaving, put an orange cone on it. There we go, I guess that's fixed. Nothing, and the D unit is knocked over again. I don't know who we have working on these lights. I heard you had a dedicated person. I think it's more of a ghost, or they don't know what they're doing. That's the one thing. The other thing is these black lights. You have entire courts where the black lights that we own, must know how to fix them, are still not working, and I'm tired of hearing the excuse, we're waiting for the contractor to come back. I think the contractor has died or gone out of business. When are you, since you're the supervisor of this, with Tom, going to fix these black, what, 7, 8 foot? When are you going to fix them?
6 foot. If they're called in, they get fixed right away.
No.
The area,
No.
if it's
We
for,
have to list it to Shirley.
well,
Because they're giving it to
the
Shirley.
last meeting, you said that you were gonna give me the list,
That's right.
and that never happened.
Richie.
But anyway, the one by your house was fixed. I was there when they fixed it. Now,
Well, that's sure it's not
the
fixed.
issue was that, was Verizon, when they shot the bullet, they broke the line. That was fixed. So,
Wait
that was
back.
fixed.
Wait back, they're not doing anything up at mine
That-
now.
Yeah, that was fixed on Monday.
No, it
That was-
wasn't.
I was there.
There's an orange cone sitting out there and the light's gone.
Okay, I'll go there
Please
tomorrow,
check
because
that.
I was there when they
Check
were
the
fixing.
unit because it's knocked off again. I don't know who's knocking it over because nobody's mowing the grass. I don't know what to tell you, but can we please get the black ones, especially the one house that had 4 fires? That whole court, that black lights,
Yeah,
none of them are working.
that's a meter. That's a meter that we're waiting for JC Billions to give
Don't tell
us.
me you're waiting for Jesus. They're not JCP&L lights.
It's the meter, a meter that works electricity.
Where
So
is that
it's the
meter?
meter on building 75.
All right, so I'll call them tomorrow and ask our point of contact. When are you gonna fix that? I mean,
It's
these
not
are
the
going on
fix, it's a
for years.
meter they have to bring.
All right, but I'm saying this is going on for years. It's unacceptable.
Yeah, it is.
All right, I wanted to have a time, a date, for a commitment when our.
Well, we reached out to them, they said they'll send somebody down the last year.
Who are you talking to?
I believe his name is Dave.
That's
But
what
I'll,
I'm talking to.
okay, maybe we're talking.
Dave somebody, okay.
I'll figure,
You put the wrong person.
I'll get the information.
I'm just tired of seeing like we go out every month, every week, and the same lights are out. And I'm not talking JCP&L, because I'm already dealing with them. They also talk to Tom. Nothing's getting fixed. One here.
Okay, thank you. 3 minutes is up, please.
Just take your time answering me. Keep that in mind.
I know, thank you.
Because my question, that's when the 3 minutes starts. When they talk, you turn it off.
Okay, thanks.
Everybody, John, waiting for me, usually I get up in the middle of the night, I go outside, I have a cigarette, and walk, and
Can you just speak closer to the mic? That's
we see the gates, you know, the outside, the gates in the back. So one time I'm watching, we'll see a car goes out the gate, and then this white SUV comes racing through, goes all on the wrong side of the street, and comes right in. You know, and it's not really good. And I also see some people trying to get in before, like other people try to go in, like in the front. And I mean, when I saw that, that's not good, especially on the other side. It's like, what happens if someone's coming down the road that time? Now, there was somebody coming through the outdoor, on the outside gate, the second gate, coming out, the back gate, coming through. When the door opened, one went out, one raced in, but stayed on the other side and went on the wrong side of the street and came in.
So the best thing to do in that situation is the next morning, if you can just document the time, okay, is call the administration office. We have cameras there. They could at least go and look at it and see if, you know, they can, if it's something that needs to be sent to the police or not. But
That's kind of like,
there's,
I mean,
there's nothing we can do if you don't report it.
cool.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Before I go too far, I just want to know who's in charge of roads, the actual macadam, the asphalt.
Talking to the mic.
I'm trying. Oh, hello.
You can take it off the stand if you'd like.
That's all right, I'll bend over.
That's gonna
I
be.
just wondered who takes care of that.
That's good. Well, we take care of the potholes, anything that is
Well,
outstanding.
someone come to Portsmouth Drive, the two right behind Dorchester, over here, you know, the two swing off courts. 408B is my side.
480 then.
Yeah. It's neat. I'm not going to say a lot. I just wish somebody would, you know, you're writing it down. I see that. Thank you. Take care of it. It's
I'll stop by.
bad. It's rough. It's rough.
I'll stop by.
All right. Thank you.
You got it.
Call it.
Jerry Corbinzell, 549B. I just have a question. Sharon was saying,
Just speak into the mic.
people say I've reported things to the board, and Frankie's saying, well, you should, maybe you're reporting it to the wrong person. In the newspaper, it lists like whose buildings and ground, who's a liaison to this and liaison to that on the board. So if someone reports to the board, isn't it the responsibility of that board member to see that that information gets forwarded to the correct person?
Well, so
Don't know where to send it. We're counting on you as our board of trustees to help us get things done through the proper channels. So I think that we should be able to assume Tom's safety, Judy's welcoming and activities. So if we have a question regarding anything and we send a blanket email to the board, I think the board liaison for that particular issue, it would be very helpful if they would help us get things done the way they're supposed to be done.
I just want to say, I can't speak for Sue Farrow, because she's not been on this board long enough, but the only trustee that has ever been of a help to me in any way is Tom Catracci. He always does that. And when you call him on his cell phone, he comes right out to take care of any issue. So I want to say thank you to Tom for doing that.
speak into the mic, ma'am. Sorry.
My name is Tasha.
Can't hear you.
My name is Tasha Carpenter. I'm at 417A. I'm a new resident in the community.
Can you turn the button on again?
Oh, I don't want to kiss it.
That's
But I
okay.
hope I'm speaking directly, now just when it comes to the building and grounds. I know there's many seniors like my mom here that maybe have issues walking and need assistance. And that is one thing that's in dire need,
What is that?
the roads, even for driving. So I'm not sure, being a new resident, I'm not sure how long the issue has been. If you need assistance, if you need assistance, get the help, because that's a safety risk. So in the buildings, even coming in, the siding that needs to be addressed. But the roads is something that should be at the top of the list too. So please put it down. in 417 Chatham Court. I'm with the gentleman in Portsmouth. When he was talking about the roads, that's something, please, that should be on my list. Thank you.
Thank you.
Suzanne Smith, 262D Kingston. I just don't quite understand why everybody, we have the numbers for maintenance, we have the phone number for activities, and like if I have something wrong or I see something, I call maintenance if it's a maintenance thing, and if I'm not in the right place, they'll tell me who to call. And if it's activities, I call activities. I don't really, I mean, that's why those phone numbers are there, to call them so that we aren't overloading the board, because they are trying to run this place too, you know, without them, you know, not dealing with the minutia is for maintenance, and minutia is for activities, right? So I don't understand why everybody's so angry. If you go to the right place, and you know, they'll tell you if you're calling the right place or not. If you have something wrong that maintenance can't cover, then they'll tell you, they'll redirect you. So I'm not sure why, what all the anger is about.
Sharon, we don't need to hear from you again. Excuse me, move on, Sharon. Sharon, you've been up at the mic plenty of times. No. Thank you very much. Quiet, please.
Tom, that was rude. You can find a better way to say something to someone. We don't need to hear from you again. That's just rude. But that's not why I'm here.
Okay.
Frankie, I'm not sure who would be in charge of tree cutting. Will Wesley be getting up?
Yes.
I'll wait.
Have a good one, guys.
Thank you, Frankie. Next up is Wes Tanner, our grounds manager. First, everybody just wait for Wes to have his report first, then you can come up and ask questions.
Hello, good evening, everyone. We as the grounds department are now fully in our grass cutting season. For those that may be new residents and new to the community, we typically do bi-weekly grass cutting, and on those weeks that we're not cutting the grass, we either edge the sidewalks and curbs, do the lakes, gutter cleaning, in which we usually do once in the late spring, and the last round of leaf removal in the fall. We also will trim the common ground bushes, trim branches away from roofs, and try our best to attend to any other work orders. There may be weeks where we had to cut the lawns consecutive. However, I do want to make mention and to be clear that the edging of the sidewalks and curbs are not done when we are cutting the lawns. Again, this information is for those who may be new and trying to figure out why we are not edging when we are cutting the lawns. As some of you may know, our irrigation system has not been up and running this past month as in the past years we are usually on. However, Lakewood MUA has basically shut us down to do some testing of any possible leaks, etc. to our main systems. Moreover, this past Friday, I did get confirmation that we can turn on our irrigation system. So therefore, our sprinkler test will be working, turning on the water, and doing all the necessary repairs throughout the community. Our in-house tree tech will begin back up and running, as we had a slight delay to get repairs done on our lift machine. Thus far, we had completed about 23 trees, along with some trimmers. Approximately about 52.89 tons of wood chips, Our head gardener has finished up with about 40 tons of stone, all of the flowers and flower pots for the bus stops, edged the landscaping beds and added mulch. Our crews during this season since the last meeting have removed an additional 54.86 tons of leaves and 16 tons of brush during the spring cleanup. We have collected well over 100 yards of mulch between the residents and in-house. I would like to add here that Long Connection will be back in this week, weather permitting, to do a second treatment to our turf. Next week, we are back on schedule for grass cutting, and the week of Memorial Day, we usually do our gutter cleaning. Schedules may change, again, that's due to weather. However, I do like to have a schedule in place. In my conclusion, the weed pickup will continue to be Friday, and I know that some residents may not be able to move their debris or mulch to the street side for pickup. If that's the case, please let us know the location, as some residents will have it on both sides. To all that have done so, thank you for your cooperation with the removing of mulch. Lastly, happy Mother's Day to all your mothers, and I hope you truly enjoy it. Now, I'm ready for the questions.
It's a pleasure to meet you finally, and to talk to you. And that's probably after 10 to 15 phone calls that I have made to either Shirley or to your direct line, and not one of them was ever returned.
I came to your house.
What's that?
I came to your house.
Yes, that was 3 years ago maybe, about
Nah, this was last year. When we had the outside contractor, tree contractor.
Come and you make marks.
Okay.
You put X's on trees, you put an X on concrete, and then it sits, and it sits, and it sits. The tree was cut August 2024.
Right.
Completion of the job to smoothing it out and putting some grass seeds in the mud happened 2 weeks ago.
Right.
I had 3 combs sitting outside my house, like somewhere in Hunts Point in the Bronx, for like 7 months. Nothing was done about this. Why is tree cutting take 7 stages?
Because we have an outside contractor that cut the tree, and then we did it in-house sowing and seeding and taking up the sunflowers.
But why does it take 9 months?
Because at the time the tree contractor was working, we was cutting the lawns and everything. We wasn't picking up no.
Well, it has to get better than that. 6 or 7 months with combs sitting outside my door, you know, with humongous tree roots where anyone could have fallen. I was falling on concrete because the big tree had ripped up the concrete. This takes too long. And part of that is who oversees the overseers. I mean, I think that is very big.
Can I ask, ma'am, I know you contacted Wes.
Yeah.
Did you have any communication with Tom, our manager, as to?
As in?
Tom Claus, did you call the office to have anybody?
That tree that's been, I requested, it was.
No, but after the tree?
I'm gonna tell you.
Right.
It's over 4 to 5 years requesting that tree be taken down. To Tom's, then to his, whatever the word is. I did email him, and that was after 4 years. And the tree men came 5 days later. So, thank you, Tom, for that.
Okay, but once the tree was taken down, right, and you had these cones sitting there, did you, other than, I understand you might have contacted Wes, but did you contact anybody else other than Wes?
Shirley?
Okay.
Shirley,
I
reached out to Tom. Tom Hugh. But anyway, so after 8 or 9 months, finally, it looks like, I'm hoping that the grass will come up, and raise the seeds down, but I just don't know why it takes so long. And everybody puts it off on somebody else. Well, it's the contractor. Even the contractor said, I have to wait for the new chipping machine to come in, which was 4 more months. Somebody has to follow up. There has to be a follow-up, you know?
Yeah, I agree with you.
Thank you.
There we go.
This way nobody can say, I can't hear you, I can't hear you. Talk, guy. This is for all of you. One question for all of you. The other day, last Thursday, they came with the blowers. Okay? 8 o'clock in the morning, they woke me up. I looked out the window. I thought I was in Dodge City, and the stage just came in. You know, and the dust was setting. Look. Are you kidding me? So, I went outside to do something, and I have a flower pot outside, and it's in half. And there's all a bunch of those needles all over the place. They didn't knock on the door and say, hey, sorry, you broke it, nothing. Now, this is the question for all of you, all right? Outside my door, I have a bench. That's a bus stop. And next to the bus stop is the exact same flower pot that I had. So, what do you think? We make a little bit of a swap here. I mean, common sense. Common sense, come on now. What do you think?
I'll look into it.
What?
I'll look into it.
You don't have to look into anything. It's right there, it's broken.
That's what I mean. I'll look into it. Purchase again another one. I'll do that.
That's it. All right. You know, Wes, we get along good. I know that. But I can't, none of these have an answer for that either.
No, that's my guys must have did something.
I'm not saying, I get it. I think so too. But, just, I don't know. I'm not going to do it and say, hey, buddy, I'm sorry.
They should have did that. They should have.
I probably would have said, I don't worry about it. I take the one from the bus stop. But, I mean, I don't know. Common sense goes a long way.
Thank you, sir.
Michael Spire, 450C Cheshire Court. Wes, question. I know going forward, we're going to have a huge extra expense with the water company. When we have rainy days as we had this week, is there any way to turn off the sprinkler system for a couple of days?
Yes.
Going forward?
Yes. That's the plan.
We got that plan?
Yes.
And one other plan, could maybe each zone cut it down by 10%, and you will still have plenty of water to keep the grass green.
Yes, we talked about that.
Good, we go.
Yes, they're gonna be, when they do their repairs, when we turn on the sprinklers, they were gonna be checking everything. However, let's just say a lawnmower hit the head, if you let me know, we can take care of it the next day or so.
Hi, Elaine Monty, 387 Beach Ave. So, we're fairly new here at the village. We had a tree removed, and they came with seed down and whatnot. And we noticed that the roots were coming out of the ground. You may be familiar because we call weekly, and it hasn't been resolved. So, you did send a crew out, and they have a look at it, and they said, we can't do this, we have to send somebody else out. Okay, fine. So we're still waiting months. They come to mow the grass finally, and he just goes around all of it. And my husband goes out and he goes, what are you doing? He goes, oh, I can't cut there. I'm going to wreck my blades, the roots.
The crew was supposed to fix that. I told them about that when you first sent that message to me.
Okay.
All right. So I'll check it out again.
Okay, so how, moving forward, are we supposed to know that you, first of all, received our message? Do we have a work order? When do we expect you? There's no communication, which I find to be unacceptable, frankly.
I had communicated when you guys were on the tree, but after you did the roots, I sent the crew out to go take care of the situation. I did check it out. When we did the sidewalk over there, I checked
Yeah,
everything.
you did the sidewalk,
You did
and
the
you
topsoil.
pulled all the pavers out where the previous people couldn't plant.
Yeah, but that was a
And
contractor.
they're still laying there.
That was a contractor that did that. But this tree, and as far as this tree stump and everything, we did quite a job over there. We removed the stump, they grinded everything.
Right.
And when I went back after I seen, they had little branch, little roots sticking out of the ground. I did tell the crew that we could go back and attend to that, to dress it up again, because they did put topsoil down there, correct?
They put topsoil and stuff.
Right. And so what happened
And
was
let
when
the roots standing straight up.
the topsoil settled, the roots came out again. So
Right.
yes, that's what it was.
Right, no, I understand.
Right.
So my question to you again is, how do you communicate back to us? Do you not communicate back to us? How do we know that you're going to tend to it? Because frankly, it's been quite some time, and since the original crew, the wrong root crew came out, it's been months. And now it's nice weather, I have grandchildren that like to come over and play, and, you know, they can you go out in the yard? No, you can't.
No, they should have went back already. I had
Well, they
to-
should have, but they
and
haven't.
They haven't,
And once
and I
again,
will make sure it gets done, trust
and
me.
how do you communicate back to us? Do you not communicate back to us?
I want to communicate with the crew leader and make sure that he attends to it and gets and get it done, and then that
So I
way.
can assume that I'll never hear from you
No,
if
you-
I have any problems in the
No,
future.
you heard from me, or your husband rather. You heard from
My husband heard from you in regards to this person.
Right, right.
But we've heard nothing back from you, and quite frankly, it's rude. We leave weekly messages.
All right, I'll take care of it.
Shirley gave a handwritten note.
Right, and you have
still
it
we
recorded.
get nothing. So we don't, so as far as we're concerned, you're not dealing with it. Because you're not communicating with
I
us.
understand. I did come out and I saw the situation, and I gave it to the crew to take care of it. I definitely did. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
I know you know what you're talking about, but you're missing the point.
I understand. You want more communication from me, and I will give that to you. Trust me.
Oh, you will give it to us. That's all I'm asking.
Gotcha.
Very much.
Hi, I'm Maureen Mangan, 583A. You can't hear me? Okay, can you hear that? Okay. Okay, so in the front of my house, I have units here. Let's look at across the way. The board say it would be 2 other units. Another 2 units over here, and then the lake is way down that way, and some more units. So there's a circular or oval-shaped mound of dirt, basically, with a lot of trees. When I first got here 4 years ago, there was a really huge, nice grove of lily of the valley, which made it pretty. The guys came and mowed that down that first summer, and it's really having trouble recovering, and I've been begging them not to go on that for 3 years now, and it's really hard to get them to do it. I spoke with Juan, Jose, and Carlo, his name was, last Monday, and they promised they wouldn't go on it, because it needs to grow. It's so hideous, it's ugly, it's just, there's no need for mowing stuff that's trying to grow that could be pretty. So if you can do whatever it takes to get them to listen and pay attention, and whoever, like if they're sick and somebody else covers that area, if somebody, the word needs to get out. Yes, this thing about feedback and follow-up, and everybody's talking about it, that would be huge if that could be instituted as part of the policy to get back to people about, who's doing what, what's on first, and would help. And there's another area that's on the back of my house that I get to look at where a really nasty bunch of overgrown yews were, and they were ripped out 2 years ago. And there was dirt put there and seed. It won't grow, it's not growing, it's really ugly also. So I don't know what you guys can do about that, but your grounds, and I'm hoping you can pay attention to that. It's, I think, 581B area. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dory from 334B. You took a bunch of trees down around Lake Tudor and Lake Avon, and whoever did the work didn't actually break up the branches that were left there. We have a visually impaired man that walks around those lakes, and it can be quite hazardous for him. I can see, I can walk over them, and sometimes I'm tripping over them. I walk a lot throughout the village, and I take notice of these things. Not only that, they're going to chip the mower blades. Another thing is that you put some dirt down, but you put that god-awful seed down, which is nothing but weed seed, and that's your own worst enemy, as we're paying for lawn connection to come in and treat pre-emergent and what have you. Those weeds literally grow up to here, and it looks awful. I think we need to invest in better seed, and pound for pound, you're going to get better grass out of the better seed quality if you do the comparison side by side. With the line connection coming, do you even have any idea what the soil needs?
No.
Okay, I dug into my own pocket and I had a soil test done. Okay, we are either really deficient and nothing will grow, or we're overly compensated. I've been going through this year after year after year. If you don't want to invest in the proper tools to keep the soil healthy, which will keep the whole area much nicer, grass will grow, and you won't have to worry so much about pre-emergence and herbicides. I'm asking you, please, to do what's right, because that is what is the best practice to take care of. If you'd like to meet with me, I'd be happy to share my findings and hopefully guide you as to what we need. But we are wasting $100,000 a year that we don't have the money to waste on this lawn connection to put crap down that we don't need.
That is 283A in Kingston. A lot of the trees that I've seen, like, especially right where the gate is, it's going like right over where the gate is. And these limbs are like this, and there's a lot of them. And I'm just, you know, one of those tree limbs break, it's gonna go right onto where the, what's it called, the gate is. That happens, I mean, about $100,000, maybe a little bit less, to fix the gate. And instead of that, maybe you could just cut some of those trees down a little bit. Especially, there's like 2 oak trees, like right there, like looking straight down. And the limbs are like this. It's like, the tree's like at least 35, like gonna be 40, 50 feet high. And
That's my gate too, right?
yeah, right by the gate, I need to be built. And there was another thing on the walkway, you know, like that goes on to Kingston, but on the fence side. I put in a picture of it. It looked like somebody like even threw a limb on it and it went on top of where the fence is. And it's like something like if somebody wanted to climb up, they would climb up that limb and just go right into the village. And then they just took off like what's it called, the razor wires down, everything was like straight down on that one too. Along with the gate, you look at it, that tree is so high. I mean, say like it starts getting leaves and you get winds. One limb hits that the thing there, it's going to ruin that whole gate. And I mean, I think it might be cheaper to cut the limbs or cut the tree down instead of waiting for it to drop on it. I mean, even if it looks nice, what are you going to do? It wouldn't look nice when it falls on. You got to spend a whole bunch of money fixing it. You know?
Okay, thank you, sir. I'm sure Wes has this.
Thank you, Wes.
John Diamore, 713C, Dorchester. I'm living here about 3 years, 3 summers now, and 2 summers ago, I called you, you came by, and I showed you, I said, "Yes, I got more sand in front of my house than I have grass." And you gave me 2 reasons. Number one, he said, it's all grass, it's all sand here. It's all sand. I don't know, I walk around a lot, I see a lot of grass. But the other one was, I pointed to the, across the street from me, and I go, look at their lawn, it's beautiful. And you said, they have a sprinkler. You don't have any sprinklers. So that, and you actually said, that's the best it's ever gonna get. Now, I was new, I ate it, but since then, I've now been increased $600 a year in HOA fees since 2 years ago. I'm hearing a lot about seeds. I don't know about seeds. You know about seeds. There are seeds for the sun, there are seeds for the shade. I would like grass in front of my, not just my house, but our strip of 4 houses is sand. The people across the street are grass. Please, that's all I ask.
Just to follow up with that, the irrigation for your back over there, we're not going to be running that line.
I didn't ask for you to put a water line in. Nowhere in what I said give me a water line. There's got to be a more sturdy grass that could live just on the rain that we get, and I am in shade. So, I'm not telling you your job, okay? Your function is to maybe come by, take a look, experiment, try different things. Put some dirt down where my house is, or our homes are. That's all. Anyway. But apparently I'm hearing a lot about seeds, so there you go. Thank you.
Hello, Terry Conti, 335A Canterbury Court. I have 3 concerns. I'm going to try to be very clear and be brief. The first one is I'm really hoping that with the board's help there will be an overall policy about the trees, because the attrition of trees is enormous. I have been living in this village on and off since the 80s when I moved back to take care of my father. I moved back in the mid-90s to take care of my mother. When she got worse, I came back in the early 2000s. And it was beautiful. It was like a park. And I have seen, well, there were a lot more trees around the lakes, and I remember how that was. And I never see a tree planted. And I mean, New Jersey has these guidelines where they really request that if you're going to cut a tree down, it has to be a certain diameter, and they strongly urge the replanting of trees. This place will be unrecognizable in 10 years if we don't start taking care of our trees. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, in recent years, they've been trimming the lakes. The edge of the lake has been so over-trimmed. There's no room for wildlife. There's no ducks, you know? There used to be all these beautiful ducks, and there's nowhere for them to live. When you walk in the Hall of Administration, right on the mission statement, it talks about protecting the natural environment as being part of what we want. And I don't see that. I would really, really like to see that. And thank you for hearing me. And I have one more request, and that is, we all collectively own these expensive lawnmowers. And I've gotten up here and said this before, but I still see them driven so fast, like so fast, that it's just making grooves in the ground, and it's divots, thank you. And it's not cutting them, and plus, you know, you could damage those expensive machines, so I don't know. I know you got a job on your hands trying to get those guys to slow down, but please, let's figure something out with that one too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moran 344A, Wes. I emailed you on the 30th about a tree. I'm talking through this latch here at 310D. Several years ago, for a few years now, she's been calling administration, contacting you about this dead tree. Well, last year, a big branch fell on a car. It cost this resident $9,000 to have it fixed. This could have been avoided if it was taken care of years ago when she first contacted. Nothing's been done as I stand here. You said that it was going to be the contractors who were going to fix it, but they ran out of money, the budget. Surprise, surprise. But anyway, you said you were going to do it in-house, and then the day before Easter, which would have been a Saturday, the hydraulic of the lift busted. So you weren't here Friday or Saturday?
No.
Sunday was Easter.
I meant the day before Good Friday, I'm sorry.
Okay, all right. So then I contacted you again, and I copied Tom over there, and Tom Claus. And you said that you would get to it to priority. I also contacted you and let you know there's a large branch still hanging. You do not need the lift for somebody to come over there and just remove it. God forbid that falls on her or her neighbors. It's going to be a catastrophe. And I have one little quote, Octavia Spencer, for all of you. The way to bring about change is to be proactive and active.
Rich Aiken, 280C. I have actually two questions. One, Wes, when your guys are hitting these lights and knocking stuff, are they reporting them to you? Or do we have to run out and find these?
Not always, they don't report everything.
Do they have a supervisor checking up on them before this kind of stuff?
They do have a crew leader in the area.
The other question I have, I don't know if any of you's walked the back line, like I said, I'm on Kingston Court, where the new housing is, and the garbage that is blowing over from the other side. Who is walking that, any of these? I know, Tom, you're always doing your walking, but does anybody on this committee walk all over and see what's going on here? Not just wait for us in a meeting to bring it up, because we kind of vote for you people because we count on you to help us out. But that back, stuff's blowing over. Was there supposed to be a fence line there or something to stop it? It's horrible back there. And for the poor people that live in that back row, they gotta look out their windows at garbage. It's just, there's something being done. Maybe I could ask the police officer that one. Okay? Thank you.
465A Waterbury. Sorry, can you hear me now? Okay. I just have a question for Wes. Can you please instruct your guys that do the leaf blowing to not blow them towards the windows and the doors? I've gone out there countless times, and I know some of them don't speak English. Like, turn it around, and blow it that way. And they still insist on blowing it towards the windows.
I'll talk to him again. We definitely had this meeting.
You have to supervise them. You have to follow them around and yell at them yourself.
I actually was out there with them the first day we did actually show the guys, so.
Okay, that was it. I understand.
Thank you.
Lori, 584B. Hi, Wes. Wes, I just want to know if you could allocate when the guys come out and do the sticks and stuff like that. There's a lot of garbage. I know with the wind and stuff, you're not out there yet, but along the lake when we walk, a lot of garbage in the water. And some people try to, you don't want us to get hurt. So if the guys have something to pick up the, there's bags in the water and, planters in the water that blew from all the wind that we had. So just to clean up the lake, because it looks kind of crummy. All right, that's it. But thank you.
Thank you.
Lisa Barrett,
at 295A. This is gonna sound a real stupid question, but is there a leak in the lake from a Melbourne by Melbourne Court? It has been really low for like a year, and everyone keeps telling me there's a leak in the lake, and I find that ridiculous, right? How's there a leak in the lake? But at the end, there's cracks and the water is going through and it's really low. And they said, we're supposed to have repairs, but the maintenance expired before we got in time, and it hasn't been reported. Just want to understand what is going on with the leaks.
Pat Wilson, 545B. Wes, I spoke to you the other day, okay? Now, first thing I want to, that lady that mentioned about them blowing against the house, that complaint has been at so many meetings, and they're still doing it. So I don't know if you're enforcing it with them or teaching them or whatever. Okay, I'm up on Sheffield, okay? I'm the rep up there. You don't like getting complaints, and I don't like getting complaints. You came up the other day, they edged before Easter. That was it. Then we didn't get any mowing. Okay, they just came up Friday. This was before Easter, they edged. The lawns were terrible. I told you everybody was complaining to me. They came up Friday and they mowed Sheffield, but they didn't mow Portsmouth. So the clumps of grass are just ridiculous. The dog is getting, my dog is so small, he's getting lost in the grass. It's so tiny. And the thing is, they don't come up to do what the whole full job. And you're saying they're doing gutters? They haven't come up to Sheffield to do gutters?
No, we're not doing gutters yet.
Oh, because you mentioned something about
Yeah, Memorial Day week is the week that we usually do gutters, so we do once in the spring, late spring, and once in the fall with the leaves. And if you do have an issue, you do come out and take care of it. But the entire village usually get done within those weeks.
The thing is, we're all up in Siberia, and they don't come up there that often. But the thing is, when they come up, they don't do the full job, and nobody is checking the job you're doing. And this has been a complaint for a long time, too. The supervisor does not come up and look to see what they've done. It's a mess up there, okay? And the second thing is the water pipes. I heard yesterday somebody told me that they're not going to put the sprinklers on at all because they're fixing the water pipes.
In my report, I just mentioned that we got the okay from Lake William UA to turn the sprinklers back on.
Okay.
So they will be working from today on to do repairs. But however, it's raining, so but they will be able to turn it on.
Can you let us know when the sprinklers will be going on, instead of everybody calling you and saying, when are the sprinklers coming on? I don't have the sprinklers. So when they start, let us know somehow. Put it in the paper or something that the sprinklers will be going on in this area, in this area, so everybody knows when to expect it, and then you won't get the phone calls.
That's why I mentioned that we will be doing that to turn all the sprinklers from now. Usually the sprinklers already on, but because Lake William UA had to shut it down as they was doing testing of the mains, so that's why we didn't put them on yet. But we got the okay. I got the okay on Friday to turn on. We are able to turn on all irrigation for the common grounds and also for the farm.
I have a thing for the board. I just want to mention something. As the woman was saying before, she's here a long time, and the village really looked beautiful. Now, since you stopped the garbage in the cans, there is garbage on the streets every day. They pick up everywhere. They come, they pick up Tuesday and Friday. The garbage goes out Sunday night. Bags of garbage all over. When you ride through this village, it's a disgrace to see all that garbage. Now you have the mulch pickup. There are 12 bags up on Sheffield. The big white garbage cup came today. I saw them picking up the bags. I walked out, the bags are there. They left. They didn't take the bags. They're not picking. What is it that takes so long? With this garbage, they're on the streets. It's like a slum when you come in here now. This place is so bad compared to what it used to be. I know you're leaving, but I hope the next board that comes on, they're going to have to take, because this is disgusting.
Thank you.
Did you make the sign of the cross before you came into this meeting tonight? Because I'm seeing all your sad faces and I hate to see that. It's not easy. It's not easy. I'm Cat Beach, Santa Crane, 599A, Lake Point Drive. And everybody thinks I got a big mouth, but I get nervous. But a lot of things that the people said, and I mean no disrespect. I'm going to be here 18 years. Whenever I talk to any worker, have always been above and beyond respect. You'll know when I'm out there, when I was 60, now I'm going to be 81, now I got to tell them what to do. You know, do this, do that, because that lady that talked about, she was checking out the soil or whatever. There was a thing, and I'm sure you're aware, I don't even know if it's Rutgers that has something. Okay, whatever, I think you should check into that. I try to see what goes on behind, you know, try to be fair, but the blowing of the leaves towards the house, I'm here 18 years. It's going on 18 years. What else? This one and that one is going on for a lot of years. When they come around, the guys, oh, I don't speak of the English. Oh, you don't speak of the English, but I'm going to show you. Do they have to speak English to get the job here? Do they have to? Do they have to understand me as a... see, that wasn't even on my list. I'm just ad-libbing. Do they have to be able to understand a resident when I ask them a question or tell them to do anything? Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yeah, they should be able to respond.
Yeah. So now I got the one guy that was a little bit of a wisecracker, and then you know when I get it twisted. I went out. Now the guy waves to me. So I'm not there to break my shoes, but you know they were mushy mush, you know. Very serious, that attorney over there. Very serious. All right, the seeds, in the 18 years I'm here, I don't remember the dates, I'm getting very forgetful of my old age. I've asked for seed, okay, you know, I'm hitting below the belt, I don't need it, but I'm just saying, you ask for seed, we don't have any. I'll put you on the list. So next year you wait, you're on the list. The third time they're seated, the seed sucks in plain English. Plain English. Now let me ask you this, when they took down my tree, the guys that took down my tree last summer was the hottest day in the summer. They were the nicest guys, whether they were outside company or whatever. I put the paper towel around their neck and I gave them a bottle of water. So let me ask you this, so now, they took the root out, whatever they did, you know how there's a little bit of a lump and it's not flat? Do I have to call up about that? West 599A, where they chopped down the tree. I mean, you got a million things to do, and people are in worse shape than me, but maybe to flatten that little, and I don't know if you put the seed, you know, and there is good seed for whatever. All right, I said that. All right, the sprinkler, because of my hearing now, you said the MCU, whatever the water place, when, did they give you a date? I couldn't hear. Did they give you a date the sprinklers are going to go on?
They gave us the okay to turn them on. So now our two sprinkler guys have to turn on all the mains now.
They're starting now?
They have to, yes.
Okay, because what I do every year, I go out with my high beams on and I drive around my property to see which, what do you call it, the thing is broken or whatever, and I do that. Let me ask you this, is there any way of you guys knowing Lake Point Drive gets turned on at 12 o'clock. Plymouth gets turned on at, do you know what time each?
Yes, the irrigation techs know. They know that what time.
Okay, that's the question. Thank you. What'd I do? Oh, my time is up? Holy moly. I tried coming up here 3 times. I have 1 or 2 more questions. Unless he's going to arrest me. Wait. The bench with the flower pot. You're having trouble keeping up with the property that you have here. I don't know why you buy a flower pot, unless somebody donated it, to put a plant in there, which they're dead anyhow when you're driving around, in my opinion. Okay, this is my wish list. My wish list is, I go around, where do I go? Devon and Windsor, the beautiful lakes there. You have this much lake, you have one bench. Why don't you have a bench here, make a square, have another bench? I think there should be 3 benches there. That's the least, but that's not on my wish list. There should be more benches put around the lake. That's my the garbage. I can't tell you about the garbage.
No, you'll have another chance. You can come.
All right, I'm going to talk to somebody.
Thank you.
The garbage men, I'm ready to smack them up. Boy, have they hurt me. Holy moly, nice job.
Bill Bishop, 181 Main Sterling Court. I yield my time to the lady so she can finish her concerns. Just kidding. Good morning. This is basically a follow-up from our meeting earlier this year. I had mentioned something about a possible homework assignment. I don't think you were here. You had already been dismissed as a group. But to do the homework, to find out what types of grass seed or fescues could be planted instead of constant irrigation, because we had the director from the Lakewood MUA that gave a presentation. He said that they couldn't figure out why they were losing so much water here, and they found out after so many years it was because of the irrigation. And so, from my interpretation of how that presentation went, if we don't find some alternative means, we're going to be assessed for that additional water usage. And as a result, if we start now this spring and summer, planting grass seed that is drought resistant, if we can overcome that issue and minimize or eliminate any additional assessment. So I'm not directing it at you, Wes, but really to the entire board. And then, just like with the bush issue, there was great concern. We were able to find some additional information and a means to compromise so that we could rectify this concern in a very amicable way. So I have still another minute and 20 seconds. Do any of you have questions?
No, thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
Joan Nealon, 269D, Kingston. I just wanted to touch on the garbage issue that we've been having. I know.
You can bring this up after, there'll be another period for you to talk. This is questions regarding Wes right now.
Okay, and what does garbage come under? Which gender?
Go ahead.
Okay. Obviously, we have given the company that picks up our trash that we pay them for.
Can you speak closer to the mic, ma'am? I'm sorry.
Yes. Obviously, that we've given license to this garbage company to have us take the garbage out and put it to the curb for them. But now they've found it easier if they just collect all those white bags and put them on one corner and leave them there for the day while they go around to the other areas and collect, and then come back sometime later during the day. And I've seen this on 2 recent occasions.
I believe Tom, our manager, has spoken to them about it, but
well, I think he needs to speak.
we didn't know it was still occurring, so I think Tom will reach back out to
And
them
now that
and
we're going to get hot weather coming this
Sure.
yeah, we're going to have animals, and we're going to have disgusting smells.
Absolutely.
And crap all over the ground. So something needs to be done and followed through with them, because
Yeah, Tom will reach out to them.
I'm not going to put it in trouble.
Okay.
Also,
Speak closer to the mic, ma'am.
I may have missed the road person, but is anybody gonna fix the bump that somebody knocked out going out of the village?
Yes,
Yes, they will. This year?
yes. Yeah. Well, Tom has to he's got to reach out to the pavement contractor, and actually possibly when the pavement contractor is in here this summer, they can make the repair for us. Yep, okay. This will be the last question for Wes for the evening.
Question. Lou Forte, 191A. Wes, why do we trim down to the lake? Because there's so much erosion walking around the lakes. Why do we trim so far down?
Just speak closer to the mic, sir. That's fine.
Why do we trim so far down to the lakes? Why don't we have a barrier, 4-foot barrier, some weeds and stuff so we can get stuff growing?
Well, in the past, we had allowed the lakes to grow wild, like really tall. In the past, and that was back when John Hammond was here. I'm not sure he was here. However, we had got so many complaints about the view and everything else, so it's difficult for us to really maintain, the lakes as such. So we don't do it as often, but it does get higher, and we do hack it down. We do. There's some things I've been looking into, like some wildflowers and different things. I've been trying to find different things so we can have the natural habitat, natural habitats and stuff like that too. But
Why can't we use the same kind of wildflowers that they do on the parkway? And anybody can, but those seeds you can buy anywhere, just grow them out and let them grow.
right,
If we cut it down in the fall, but now, there's tons of erosion. The lakes are just...
one of the main reasons that we had a lot of poison ivy, a lot of our guys been getting...
Came to my house to take them out.
Yeah, a lot of our guys been getting destroyed with it, and then that's another cause and stuff too. But it is some things I do want to look into with the lakes. But a lot of it was because of the view, from my understanding. I'm not sure, but for the view, that's what it was.
Just a question. Thank you.
And thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Wes. Next up is Mike Aaliyah, our shop foreman.
Good evening. Down at the shop, we put all the winter equipment away finally, and we've been servicing all the vehicles at the regular intervals. All the lawn equipment is serviced and running. And gate 1 is going to be up and repaired soon. We were waiting on a part for a while, and the vendor should be out this week to repair it. And hopefully we don't get too much rain if we get to it. And is there any questions? I'm getting what? Oh, yeah.
Kathy Doherty again, 622A. Hi, you're in charge of, if I understand correctly, all the equipment down in the yard?
Yes.
Make sure it's working? Okay. I've been on safety and security with Richie Meyer for about a year. We have this lane security vehicle. Most people don't go out. Most ladies won't go out in it. When you ride in the thing, the back wheel's going ee. The one windshield wiper died. Okay, the thing, hold it. It keeps shutting off. We went out the other night for an hour and a half. We used to go out for 3. Thing just shuts right off. And I don't want to put Richie on the spot because he'll defend anybody. What's the problem? If you don't know how to fix it, can we not send it out on a flatbed? Send it to a vocational school. Won't cost us anything. What's the problem with the competency down there that you can't fix this vehicle? Go.
Oh, right. Well, we fixed the wiper. We put the new wiper arm in for that.
Yeah, and how come it keeps shutting off?
We have to find out why, because when we run it at the shop, it doesn't stop. I checked it for codes, and I'm coming in. The car is 18 years old, so it's going to drive you crazy.
And so...
I'm sorry, that's not an excuse.
No, it is an excuse, but it doesn't. We can find out what's wrong with it, the fuel pump cuts out or whatever it is, but they tell me it happens.
Capable of finding out. It's been down there many times. I mean, Richie brings it down, stops and again, takes you out, doesn't do it. We were out the other night, 4 times it stopped within an hour and a half. Just stops right in the middle of the street.
That's what
Do we have somebody who's capable of fixing it? Or can we send it out to Heineke, send it out to the vocational school over in Lakewood, let the kids with their teachers work on it. They'll learn, and maybe we'll get a vehicle that works. We can't do and I guess excuse me. Excuse me, I'm on my time. Excuse me, it's my 3 minutes. I asked what about another vehicle? Somebody said to me, well, someone has to put in a request for a vehicle, and it wasn't done. Then I heard one of the trustees said, well, we're hoping somebody's going to donate a vehicle to us. Now you can vote.
So I wanted to let you know, yes, the board has discussed about replacing that vehicle. All right, so Mike, I'm sure had taken that into account, and he's tried to fix whatever needs to be fixed at the best that he can. We're not going to put a lot of money into something that the board is looking to replace.
Did I ask you to?
I'm just giving you a reason.
Somebody was supposed to put in a request to buy another vehicle used. We're not looking for new. But supposedly that wasn't done. You had $80,000 in the budget for vehicles. Why can't, when Richie asked, can I go?
This is a question to Mike right now, so we're going to, this is about Mike right now. And
that's what I'm talking about. He's not capable of fixing it. No offense.
No,
I've been there a lot of times.
First of all, I think that gentleman has saved this community a lot of money.
That's not the issue. I'm asking about the security
So
vehicle that we go out.
I take offense of you to try to say that somebody can't fix something.
Well, he hasn't fixed it, has he?
Maybe he needs to go and take a look at something again, okay? I'm not going to have you belittle a guy over a windshield wiper, okay?
I'm not talking about windshield.
No, yes you are.
The thing is shutting off. You're in the middle of the street, die.
But you know what's funny?
One thing.
When it goes off, it has to stay off to find a problem. Something
5
that,
minutes, and then it starts up again.
yeah, then you can't find the problem. Whether ignition stops working, the fuel pump stops working, you can't find it when it comes back on again. And then the only codes in it are for oxygen sensors. And that's not going to stop fluid.
Or when are we going to have another vehicle?
Well, if I keep it and then I stop doing other things, then I could get onto that. When I come in the morning, everybody comes after me for something they need. And then it's usually, I work on the worst problem of the day.
It's been months, Mike.
Oh, I know, it's been a long time. And then, Richie says, oh, okay.
Volunteer, they're afraid to ride in the thing.
He says, okay, we'll drive it, and, and then it comes back and it gets stuck. But it's 2 hours when it's
And
running.
the back wheel that keeps going, I would go.
Well, he didn't bring it for that, but we could, it's probably just something on the rubbing of the brake.
Maybe, but it needs to be fixed, or you people, I know you're leaving, so we can't talk to you. We need to get another vehicle, please.
Okay, thank you. Point of order.
Sharon Whiteman, 684A Plymouth Drive. I just have a question, because I have a recording of the Zoom meeting when Sandy Giampolo was board president, that the vehicle that John drives was originally purchased to replace what they called Car 54. So why are we looking for another vehicle now when that vehicle you sold it to us as it was being purchased to replace the security vehicle? I'm curious about that. That's how we sold buying that vehicle was to replace the Car 54. Now you're talking about buying another vehicle? You've already purchased 2 other trucks with no resolution that no one seems to know about, but they have paper plates on them. So we just keep buying vehicles, and the HOA residents don't know that this is going on. The other question I have is that cherry picker that we only bought, last year or the year before, now the hydraulics are finished on that. Is that going to be repaired in-house? And if not, what's the estimated cost to do a job like that?
Yeah, it's running. Yeah, we replaced 4 hoses on it.
And
it has a lot of hoses on it, so we replaced what we could get at to it.
Is that a big expense for us? Because that was a used piece of equipment that Tom told the board to purchase.
Yeah, it runs a few $100s. Sure, it's not a cheap machine at all.
So another piece of used equipment that we bought that within a year had a failure?
Yeah, I have to keep struggling and keep everything running.
I just think think that there should be more transparency about exactly what's going on in here. Like, we're buying all this used equipment, and then there's a failure. We buy a truck for John, a vehicle for John to drive around in that was all supposed to be used for security, and
Well, he goes through all the backyards with it, you know, what you can't do with the car.
yeah, Mike, I like you, and this question isn't really for you, it's for them, because I know that you work hard. You used to come to my house to do repairs on appliances, and I thought you did a great job. I really think you're a great employee.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. Next up, John Lynchner, on quality of life.
Car 54 likes me. And I drive just fine. I said, car 54 likes me. It drives just fine. Hello everyone. I'd like to start off with letting everyone know that window AC units are still prohibited in Leisure Village. There are a few AC units approved by the board that the portable and vent out through the window that you can purchase. You can also call administration for those details. I will also start overgrowth soon after wrapping up violations for people who have patio furniture on common ground. As far as the mulch, I would like to thank everyone that has started to remove their mulch from the 3-foot area, not waiting till the last minute and then asking for more time. Also, for those who are unaware, if you do remove your own mulch, bag it, put it at the curb, call maintenance, and they let them know your address so they can come pick it up in a few days. Please don't make the bags too heavy so they rip. The traffic hawk also want to say thank you to all the residents that have slowed down in Leisure Village. The traffic hawk is out there every day. Resident violations are way down to 2 or 3 a week as to when it was 30 to 40 a day from 2 years ago. Since the last quarterly meeting, renovations, landscaping permits have slowly been rolling in. I received about 30 to 35 new permits, have also closed about 40 permits, and there are still 120 open or not completed. On a good note, only 3 cars have been towed out of Leisure Village for not being registered with Leisure Village, and also visitors have been great getting their parking permits as soon as they move in. Short and sweet. Good night. I'm John.
Tell you who I am again, 599.
No, just ask the question, please, ma'am. Just ask the question.
I can't hear again. Did you say we are not allowed to put an air conditioner in our window, yes or no?
No, you are not allowed to put window air conditioning units in.
Oh, I see a million, I thought we were, okay.
If you see them, please call me. I
I'm
will.
not gonna. All right. I want to ask this, and Tom was nice enough to answer me, but the older units, I don't know what models they are, they have the air conditioning in their wall. Can they change bylaws, or I don't know why? If we get a licensed electrician, or whatever it is that has to make the hole in the wall, why can't we do that, as long as it's done by a licensed person? No, I'm told I'm not allowed to put an air conditioner in my wall. Am I?
No, you're not allowed.
We're not allowed. Is there,
Because you have an existing condenser.
Yeah.
Right.
It might be on its way out, and it's going to cost me millions of dollars.
Yes.
So it would be cheaper for me. All right, so you're not going to give me my wish. Okay.
Sorry.
I was hoping you could change that.
Sorry.
The mulch. When you were talking, I see when you come in the main gate, it looks lovely, the mulch is there. I did not know that. I think all mulch is going to cause a fire. Even the rubber thing that they had, is that right? Is that true?
That's possible on whether it's true, I don't know.
Why are you guys allowed to do mulch and we're not?
It's,
Because, go ahead.
from what I understand, the mulch, by the state of New Jersey, mulch cannot be within the 3-foot area of your
That's
home.
what I heard. Okay, but okay. All right, thank you. Which list is that?
Thank you very much, ma'am.
John, I just have a serious question about electric.
Please quiet.
What?
No, I was just asking them to be
I
quiet.
just have a serious question about electric bikes. When the board approved them, I did say that was probably going to be a huge issue with trying to keep these people off the paths around the lake. They're not allowed on those paths, correct?
From what I understand, yes, they are.
So,
My understanding, that's my understanding of it, that.
okay, so we need, I'll email you or I'll call you during the week, because we need to get to the bottom of this. It was my understanding that when they approved it, they were for the road only, but regular bicycles can be on the path around the lake, but not
You might be
electric
right about
bikes.
that. You may be right about that.
So I had suggested that that would be an issue from the get-go, and that maybe when people had electric bikes in here, there would have to be some type of a placard that they would have to mount on the bike with maybe their address number as an identification. Because what's happening now, as it does every spring and summer, they're riding on the paths around the lake at a high speed. They come right up behind me, and I have a dog that is reactive. And, you know, I shouldn't have to be concerned about that, but as a good dog owner, I want to protect you, me, and my dog. So I want them to tell me when they're coming up behind me so I can get my dog off the path, secure him, and let them go, right? I do that for regular bicyclists, but again, electric bikes are not supposed to be on those paths, and I have no way to identify that person to you. And so I'm asking the board seriously, the board that's coming in, to seriously consider demanding that they have to register and put some type of an ID on their bicycle, which will, I think, discourage them from riding on these paths and would be a quick solution.
Hopefully the board will maybe bring that back up and come with a
Because it's
definitive rule.
dangerous. These bikes go fast, and when they whiz up behind you and my dog jumps out, we're all going to get hurt.
And unfortunately, those electric bikes go faster than the Kubota.
All right. Thanks, Sean.
Thank you, Sean.
Michael Spira, 450C Cheshire. John, how come the speed rock is only used Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 3:30? On a weekend, the guy can go 100 miles an hour.
Unfortunately, I can't leave the rock out overnight because people do mess with it.
Is there anybody else that when you're like on a weekend, an employee or somebody, I don't know, if people get tickets,
Well,
but
again, I can assign it to Scott, who is here on the weekends at night, but like I said, the camera that I put up that watches the rock to keep people from messing with it, at night, it does night vision, but you can't identify who it is. I would love to leave the rock out all night, but unfortunately, there's residents I can't trust to leave it alone.
right, so I would suggest maybe the rental lease. You know, the police use those signs where you go over 25 miles an hour, it blinks. You know, make people go slower and give them an $8 fine for going over the speed limit. At least one or two of those, one on Portsmouth, one on Dorchester.
I think only the police department, has those two.
We can't lease it for our own, no, they're private roads though, why can't we lease?
You can put a request in the Lakewood Township Police. I think the board can. I'm not 100% sure, but I think they can.
A private company, we pay, we lease, and I think that would work better than the rock. I mean, you're on 24 hours, 7 days a week.
That would be the same thing. Are you talking about this radar, this speed camera to us?
If you go over 25, it blinks, and 35, it goes
Oh, it
crazy.
just tells you to slow down.
Yeah, you don't get
For the
fined, but
residents to slow down.
psychologically, people don't realize sometimes when they're speeding.
It's good in theory, but do I think it would work? No.
Hi, Terry Conti, 335A again. Real briefly, for me, it would be a real quality of life help. It would help if we could grow parsley, basil, maybe kale outside in our area. Now, I know it violates the bylaws, But sometimes I wonder, how long have these bylaws been there, and do we need a committee to go through them and see if some of them are no longer relevant? I mean, it was in the bylaws in Ocean Grove that you had to be in your house before midnight until they changed that. So maybe we could, I mean, it would be so nice to be able to walk out and pick some basil and parsley instead of go to the farm.
The board would have to discuss that and take that up.
Or vegetable or kale, you know? I mean, is there a purpose for that particular law? That's my question. Thank you.
Gene Lineberg, 352A. One question. How many violations are there so far for furniture in the common area?
It was very surprisingly low. I'm at about 15 for the whole, is that section 1 from Plymouth all the way to Dorchester, around, and down Huntington to the second gate. We only had about 15 violations. That's all I've been able to get up to so far. A lot of people have not put the patio furniture out or have removed them after the first violation.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, John. So, seeing that it is my last meeting this evening, I really would like to thank all the supervisors for all your hard work over the past 3 years. I'll continue to support you going forward, and look forward to seeing you as a regular person out in the field. Take care, guys. Thank you so much. We're going to move on now to our committee reports.
There's a safety and security meeting next Tuesday.
Judy, you have one?
Our welcome night is coming up on May 13th at 6:30 here in Dorchester. Neighborhood representatives is May 16th at 10 o'clock in Buckingham. Our special events committee has been setting up appointments with the Ocean County Senior to go over with the residents about the new anchor laws and pamphlets. And I believe that activities is going to be setting up having another yard sale on Saturday since it was rained out. Is that correct still? This Saturday. I'm sure they'll be putting things out on Facebook to let you know. Do a one call.
Okay, thank you, Judy.
It was the Ocean County Seniors, the Special Events Committee. We had a presentation here, and then from there, people set up and they were getting appointments to come in. Anchor's coming in, yeah. Senior is coming in to talk to individuals who have appointments.
Thank you, Judy. It's not a treasury report, it's a committee report. Let's get to that point. Sure.
Since you were speaking and reminding me of something, can you please tell me, now you and I know I've asked you 3 times, the audio stream that's out in the lobby, it's supposed to be up there, it was set up from Sandy Accomando when she pushed forward the solar panels on the roofs. Now it's gone. So I asked you why it wasn't working for like 3 different times. What's the deal with the screen? Are we going to have it or what? No, we're not going to have it. I can't hear you, I'm sorry.
The connection is not correct. We could get it back. I'm sorry, Tom will tell you.
Okay, so the TV was removed. We did updates to the software, but it would not connect to the portal. So the TV in itself would need to be replaced. The board has not approved the replacement at this time.
Is the board planning on doing that? Do you know? Have you brought it to them?
Yes.
The screen we're talking about is outside the door. It's an audio screen supposed to be recording how much we're saving from having the solar panels put on the roof of our buildings. That was Sandy Akamondo's project, if I remember when I was on the board. I guess 3 times, where is it, how come it's not, now it's not all together. So you'll bring it up, and I guess the new board will have to take that under advisement, right, Tom?
Thank you. Sandy Akamondo has a community report.
As the liaison for Buckingham Pool, I'd like to report that on May 17th, Buckingham Pool will be opening. It will be opening from 10 to 7 on that Saturday. Also, as a result of donations and the generous residents who are attending, we will have a potluck buffet, and from 1 to 4, we're having live music for the first time at the pool. So if you want to have a good time, come and enjoy yourself. It's free, but if you feel like bringing your favorite dish, please bring something. It would be nice if you made sure that there was food in it. So bring it when you can. And the other event we're having, it's not really a committee of mine, but we did it last year and it was such a success, we're going to do it again, which is our Pride Picnic, which is on June 14th from 12 until. It is also a free event, and everybody brings food, and we have music, basically not live music at this point, but it's a lovely day, and both events use no village resources.
Thank you, Sandy.
Oh, right, I'm sorry. And no children at the pools until June 21st, because that's the end of school, as we see. And that's what we did last year also, and it was very successful.
Sharon, do you have any additional questions? Thank you. Okay, moving on to our treasurer's report. Mrs. Judy Mapes.
All right, as of this morning in our Ameriprise account, we have $3,817,418.11. As Gina spoke, that we have been funding, we did complete funding in March, and in April, we're starting to do the catch-up that we didn't pay in December, January, and February. As far as delinquencies, at the end of April, we only had 295 units that were delinquent. As of this morning, from 0 to 30, we have 1,578. 31 to 60 is 121, and 61 plus is 95, and that's about average for right now. We also have about 44 accounts with our attorneys, which at the last reports that I got from the attorneys was about 322,000. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy. And now our village manager report, Tom Claus.
Good evening, everyone. Just a quick report for you. We're still working on some insurance claims, 403 building, moving forward with the repairs on that. We just got the rough electrical completed. We're also having the HVAC work done and the rough plumbing. We're expecting the siding in very soon. Once it's in, we'll begin siding that building. We had another accident up at 558B where a vehicle struck a unit. We're currently working with the owner, trying to get them back in that unit as quickly as possible. Also working with the driver's insurance carrier. We have a claim in with them. We're waiting to hear back from the insurance adjuster. As you heard Wes mention, we did get the okay to turn the irrigation system on. Lakewood MUA has completed their leak detection. They will be submitting a report. They said they did identify a couple of leaks, but they didn't go into detail whether they were large or small. But once we have the report, we'll share that with the board and then with the community. JCP&L, as you all know, they're working in here quite a bit. I spoke with a representative over at JCP&L. I understand they have a new VP in charge of operations that's really trying to aggressively take care of these infrastructure repairs and replacement here in the community to make for more reliable service. They will be replacing the lines from the farm area all the way down to Buckingham Drive. That'll all be on the east side. As you can see, all the mark out flags on the east side of that road. They will be replacing also 7 switches in conjunction with that repair. So this could take quite some time to complete. They will also have a contractor doing the majority of the work, and I understand that they will have their line crews doing the connection once that's all done. Once all said and done, the subcontractor will take care of any repairs to landscaping as well. We're working with our pool contractor, American Pools, with getting the pools all fully operational. They're both running at the present time, so we're still working with them to make sure that they're all cleaned up, ready to go, and we have a great season this year. Road work, we expect a contractor in sometime this month to begin the concrete work, and then after that they'll begin milling and paving. We are currently compiling concrete work. This is anything that we handle in-house, sub out, curbing, sidewalk repair, etc. So we're working to compile all those work orders that we presently have in the system, and I'll be working with Wes and marking out the various areas for the subcontract. Getting close to completion on the service building. We just passed the final electrical inspection and plumbing inspection this morning. So the last thing we have is a building inspection and then the inspection on the fire system. Additionally, as you all know, we're working here in Dorchester Hall and making improvements to the bathrooms. There was some delay in getting the partitions, all of them in. Once they come in, we'll install those, and then we'll have both the ladies' room and men's room fully operational. That'll conclude my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Any questions for Tom?
Hi, Joanne Glass, 451B Portsmouth. I'm not sure, I guess this would be for Tom, it's really for everyone in the board. I just had a question. I was wondering, I don't know if anybody else was wondering, but this is the first time in all the years I've been living in here that I've seen a uniformed armed police officer at our meetings, and I was wondering why no one on the board or Tom or the attorney, anyone addressed that, because I'm wondering, I'm curious to know what the reason why it happened. And what would be the reason he'd need to be here, and what was he instructed to do? At what point would he be asked to respond to something? Because this is new. I mean, let's face it. Has anyone ever seen an officer here? So I think we have a right to know why. Okay, thank you.
I think just for the bottom line, it's just for the safety and the security of the people that.
Why? Since when? Why?
This is a large meeting.
What was he instructed to do? What is his role here? Just to sit and listen?
So the board has, in the past, okay, have received increasingly aggressive behavior in these meetings.
Okay, so that's fine. It should have been addressed then, maybe, that this would be something you would notice tonight when you came in, that there was an armed officer in here?
Well, he's an officer.
Why though? Wait, this is an HOA board meeting in Leisure Village. I mean, really.
The accusation said.
I think it warrants an explanation.
Sure. Well, I just gave you the explanation.
Okay.
For safety and security.
What threats? What kind of threat? And all right, so you gave me the explanation. What was he instructed to do? Just to sit and observe? Yes. Was he instructed to take people out of the room?
He's a neutral person that if somebody was to get out of hand, Okay? We could ask him to...
And what is get out of hand? What's the criteria for getting out of hand? Who determined that? Who asked him to be here? Who asked him to be here? Who spoke and said, oh, this is a good idea. I want him, I want him, I want him, I want him, I want him. Who came up with that idea?
Who came up with the idea?
Yes.
We all spoke about it in the board meeting.
And was it voted on? Was it voted on?
It was voted on in an executive session.
Okay, is there a way that we can know who voted that they felt that we needed an armed officer in the building? Because it makes me uncomfortable. I don't think it's necessary. I feel like we're living in a police state.
I feel uncomfortable. We were at a meeting here and a man came running up from the back, came zooming up here. I had no idea who he was. I had no idea if he had any kind of weapon, and just came toward the board.
When was this?
That scared me. Maybe you weren't at the meeting.
I'm at most of them, so how recent? Was it in the last year?
Another gentleman called us communists.
Okay, so that warrants the police.
That just happened at our last quarterly meeting.
Let me explain. Right now, the rule of this body is one time at the microphone for 3 minutes. You have 3 people up at the microphone more than once already. Okay, when we ask you to sit down, and if you don't sit down, we can have the police officer escort you out.
Oh, really? Really? I mean, I think everybody here needs to know that this is, so is this, can I ask you this, is this the new policy going forward? Is this the new policy going forward, that we will have an armed police officer in Leisure Village, Dorchester Hall at meetings? Just,
So that would be for your new board to
for the
decide.
new board. Okay, well, Tom Claus is here, the manager, and there are a few people that are here that will be on the new board. Is that something you support? Curious. No, right? Exactly. So we have Brian in Lakewood. He's probably here. I mean, someone's paying his salary to be here to sit in this office. It's just, I have a right to say what I feel, and I wonder if other people agree with me. Please clap your hands, raise your hands, acknowledge.
Okay, well, I'm glad that you went first, because my question would be, first of all, how much are we paying him to be here?
$80 an hour.
Okay, so we're paying $80 an hour so Sandy can feel a little bit safer. However, because a lot of people...
First of all, it's not just Sandy.
A lot of people should be informed that 2 weeks ago, the police were on property to arrest an employee that had a warrant out for his arrest. And I believe it was a maintenance employee, one that enters your home, correct?
I don't think this is
You don't think that's important for people to know that a maintenance employee had a warrant out for his arrest and was going into people's homes to do repairs? Why don't we know that kind of stuff? But yet there's a police officer here to protect you from loud people like me or other people during a meeting that might have been carrying a weapon. But you don't tell us that there was a maintenance employee that was hired that had a warrant out for his arrest. Why do we not know that? Who's doing this hiring? Is there drug testing? Is anyone checking their records? We're just going to pretend we don't know, right? We're going to pretend that this didn't happen and we don't know?
This is first I'm hearing about this.
Oh, really? Okay.
You don't want to...
Right, you want to address it? You're going to tell me it's none of our business because it's whatever?
No, I'm obviously not aware specifically of that situation, but I think...
Well, ask Tom. He's the manager. He should know if what I'm saying is the truth.
Right, but there is a potential issue if you disclose something at a...
Oh, I bet there would be an issue, because I'll tell you what, if I had found out that that employee had been inside my home, there would be a huge issue. A huge issue.
And there's also an issue if the board says something in open meeting which is not accurate against somebody else, right? So there's issues on both sides, and that's that. Wait and balance.
You guys all heard it. There's a cop here to protect them from us. But yet there's an employee entering your home that has a warrant out for his arrest. Everybody should be thinking about that.
Dory 334B. So are there background checks and fingerprints done on our employees, all employees?
Well, this was supposed to be questions for Tom during his manager's report. We'll have
I don't care, I want an answer. Or should I have the cop escort me out because you're not being forthcoming with this information? Or is the cop here to protect us from somebody like Glenn Wilder who's got up and screamed at me to shut up loudly about a half a dozen times at the last meeting? Did anybody do anything about that? Maybe the cop is here to protect us from you. So what's the status on the fingerprints and background checks?
We do not fingerprint employees, we do background checks and drug testings pre-employment.
Okay, there's a way to get around drug testing, by the way. And fingerprints should be done at the potential employee's expense. Can we add that into our list of things to do? That way we don't have to have homeowners at risk of somebody coming in that has a warrant out for their arrest?
Something the new board can discuss with the union.
Of course, okay. What is the status of this Taj Mahal fire suppression system?
The board did not approve a fire suppression system for that building.
Okay, so the board is not protecting our investment of $1.2 million when the last building burned down because of combustibles. Why?
Because of cost.
Because of cost. You spent $1.2 million and then you spent another $800,000 on painting, but you're not going to protect our investment.
Well, the painting has nothing to do with the...
Yes, there was money that was taken. You took out a $2 million loan.
That's right.
And so you took $1.2 million for the new building and $800,000. That's my understanding. Correct me if I'm wrong, please.
No, the loan was not fully for the service building. It was primarily for the painting and power washing program.
And it wasn't for the service
A
building?
portion of it went to the service building. Some of it was insurance recovery. Additional monies was also for the Dorchester Hall bathrooms, and there was some monies reserved for the potential parking lot expansion.
And so it wasn't important, it's not important. I don't understand how we wouldn't protect our investment.
Well,
that's a lot of money.
Yeah, it was a lot of money effectively for increasing the water main going into the service area and then putting the fire suppression system in. When we checked with our insurance broker, asking what kind of reduction in insurance that we would get, they estimated between $200 and $400 off our insurance each year.
Okay, so how much, now that we've established that, can you tell me what Leisure Village buildings or buildings that we live in our homes, what we're classified as?
What do you mean?
Are they R3, R4, R5? What's the classification?
I don't know, I would have to look into that.
Okay, can you look into that and get back to me within like 3 days and let me know? Because according to the NJAC 5.70-3, 310.2, owner-occupied 1 and 2 family or attached single-family structures are excluded from the mulch ruling, okay? You've decided that we do not need to, that we need to remove 3 foot worth of mulch, whereas Leisure Village has only allowed 18 inches. So why is the rules for you and the different rules for us? Well, there are
different rules. The 18 inches is next to a non-combustible material.
The 18, there's no combustible materials around this building?
No.
No.
So
it's brick.
Right. Let me address the mulch law. Right. The mulch law went into effect, and every town has different interpretations. Every fire official has different. This is an amendment to the fire code, and they're all trying to deal with it because the language in the mulch law is very ambiguous, and it talks about unit owner occupied, right? But there's some rentals in some of these buildings. So the question is, well, what if one unit is unit owner and the one next to it is renting? Is that a unit owner occupied building? Is that exempt? Is the whole building exempt for the mulch law? Does it all have to apply? So there's a lot of confusion as to what it actually means. The safest bet for this association is to ensure it does not receive a violation from the fire official. So all the mulch has to has to be removed from 18 inches, because we don't know how it's going to be enforced, and we don't know what type of revisions, and there are going to be revisions to this mulch law. I know that there's going to be a revision. It just hasn't been promulgated yet. There's going to be a commentary period for everybody, CAI, this association, anybody can put a comment in. And I'll keep everybody up to date on that in the report when that happens. But right now, we don't know what's going to happen with the mulch law, but we know safest bet is to ensure there's no mulch within 18 inches of the residential buildings that are occupied.
Okay, why don't we just stick with 18 inches? Since that's what
It's the easiest way to enforce it, and it wasn't just for the mulch law, right? This was just for best practices to show your insurance company you're removing mulch.
Oh my God, you're not getting a fire suppression system in a building that has combustibles in it. You're worried about the mulch?
It's not even that. I have no control over whether fire suppression system comes in, right? But what you can say is that there's no mulcher on any of the residential buildings, right? Residential buildings, obviously there's the most exposure to potential liability. You're talking about life risks. It's less exposure in a service building where people aren't sleeping overnight. So there's less potential risk there. Yes, the property damage is higher, but less just general liability.
There's smoking going on. There's smoking outside these buildings. Yeah, isn't there smoking? People smoke outside these buildings? That pertains to the mulch law as well.
Right. We also put stone in within 3 foot.
No, you didn't. You put stone within 18 inches.
So it's a little further than 18 inches.
It might be 20.
But then it's mulch extending out from there.
Well, the residents could do the same thing. Aesthetically, it'd be more pleasing, and it'd make it easier for the residents to keep the weeds down so that it get fined by John.
So basically you get 3 foot, right? So 18 inches, that means you're going to put 12-inch strip of mulch.
If you do wait, Tom, you're mental. If you're doing 18 inches of stone, then you can only put how many inches of mulch?
12.
12 inches? No, it's not, Tom.
16.
No, it's 18, Tom.
But as the board president mentioned before, we're not going to send a compliance officer out there to measure and make sure everyone has 18 inches.
Oh my God, you can't eyeball 18 inches?
What's that?
You can't eyeball 18 inches? He's going to take a tape measure or measure?
Well, if you wanted to verify, you would have to.
It doesn't make sense. You can't even do basic math. Okay, so another question is there a security system in the Taj Mahal? Is there a security system? Is it linked up to the police station?
So it goes to a central monitoring system that reports to the police station. In addition to that, there is a fire detection system in there as well.
Okay. Is there going to be different gates that are going to put on the entrance to the maintenance area instead of those gates that anybody can slide underneath? The gates to the maintenance area? I mean, anybody can get in or out, right?
It's something that we're looking into. It definitely need stronger security down there. We have a lot of issues with residents going down there throughout the day, even on the weekends when people aren't there. So definitely something has to be done. It's a conversation we'll have with the new board.
Okay. Another question is, how are the gasoline pumps monitored?
The time's up, ma'am.
How are the gasoline pumps monitored?
The automotive foreman handles the monitoring on that.
Okay, is there an electronic system in place?
Not electronic, but everything's locked with key. And then he has a sheet that he uses for documenting all the fuel that goes out.
Okay, have you ever considered getting a more sophisticated system than pen and paper?
Yes, we have.
Come on.
2 weeks ago on Saturday, you know the booklets we get every month? You know the booklets we get, the magazines we get once a month, right? On the calendar page in the center for December, whenever there's something going on here, it tells you everything that goes on in the whole month. And everything that go on in here, especially if it's a private party, it says PP, correct? Right, it says private party. 2 weeks ago, I drove in here into the parking lot, and there was 6 guys in green vests and flashlights. And 2 of them came running up to my car. No, you go, you don't park, you don't park. Oh. I said, I live here. Oh, you live here? Oh, then you park over there and back your car in. Who are these people? There was 300 people in this room and 200 more down in Buckingham. Nothing in the magazine that they were going to be here. Okay? Who are these people to tell me, who lives here, where I can park? Answer me that question. And why wasn't it in the magazine that there was a private party of about 300 people coming into this room and 1 bathroom working? I'll wait. How do we know it's a private party? Nothing was said. Nothing was in the magazine. There says PP in the magazine.
You're thinking of the activities calendar.
That's right.
That's not the magazine.
All right, so then where was it posted?
It's not in the magazine.
Where was it posted?
In the activities schedule that you get when you go to the activities meeting every month.
No.
Yes.
No. Did any of you know about this? No. No. Did any of you people know about it?
It's a private.
Running up in my car and telling me to get out. Go park your car someplace else.
Sorry, I think the point is noted, and I'm sure the new board will address your concern.
You know what else I'd like to know, really? I mean, God bless you. I mean, I want you to make money too. I would like to know how much they got for that. And there was a religious group of people. All right, here and Buckingham.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, we took care of that.
Gene Nyberg, 352A. I, for one, would like to apologize if you, the board, were intimidated enough and scared enough to need a cop at one of our public meetings. I apologize. That's number 1. Number 2, addressing the gentleman's concern just before me, we have an official Leisure Village website on Facebook. I've said it over and over and over again. Learn, please, to communicate with us. All it takes is somebody to post on the official Facebook page. Private party of Buckingham this weekend, or Dorchester this weekend, just to communicate so that you wouldn't have an issue. Because we would all know, because I don't know how many other people, but I have never gone to an activities committee meeting. And I would just like to say, thank you for your service, and I look very, very forward in working with the new board. Thank you.
Francine G, Unit 320B. I have a couple of questions here. First, can you hear me now? Yes. All right. Is there any way we can do away with allowing rentals in this complex like other complexes do? Because I feel like, I'm not against rentals in general, but because some of these homeowners are just renting to any Tom, Dick, and Harry around here, and the place is really going downhill because of it, I feel. The quality is just going down and down and down. So isn't there any way, like, to just eliminate it completely and not allow all homeowners to rent in this place.
So, I'm not sure if you're aware, but the association recently approved amendments restricting further rentals in the community, right? So there's an even more stringent requirement for residents, it's getting late in the night, for residency requirements if we're eligible to rent. It's really a balance test as to whether, and you look at how many rentals there are and what's going on in the community, because many owners that look to sell, they want it to be more marketable, and obviously you limit that pool of buyers if you are not at all allowing anyone to ever rent in the community. Regardless, you would still have to grandfather in existing owners. So it's a balance test. I don't know any community that says we don't want any rentals at all.
Oh, I do.
You do, right? But that's just something, I guess, for the association to consider, depending on how the community goes. But it does limit the potential pool of buyers. It just will.
My other question is there any way we can allow privacy fences so we can have some kind of outdoor space to eat outdoors and have some privacy around us, like other complexes do? Is there any objection about that? I mean, it's not going to deteriorate from the look of the place?
Usually, what happens in most communities like that, those privacy areas become dog pens. And that is a big issue in a lot of communities. Plus, yes, people just let their dog out and run around in their...
They do it now. I've seen people walk their dogs and don't pick up their you-know-what.
It becomes even worse when you have a fenced-in area.
Well, that's their own little private area. That's up to them. I don't have to look at it because it's enclosed.
Again, that would be for the new board to come in and they would address that.
Okay. My other question is, since we're not getting anywhere with this lawsuit against Lakewood regarding our garbage pickup, and we're paying it in our taxes anyway, why can't we have Lakewood pick up our garbage and they could provide us with canisters, which will avoid all this bags all over the place that I have to look at every morning before they come to pick up our garbage. And it's in our taxes anyway. We're paying for it. We're not getting it back. So why can't we just save all that money and get rid of waste management and have Lakewood pick up our garbage?
Well, the matter is still being litigated, as you know.
It's been litigated for 5 years. Where's it going? Nowhere.
Well, the attorney will be providing an update on that particular litigation, but as far as the canisters go, they probably wouldn't supply you with in-ground canisters.
We don't want in-ground. I'm not talking about in-ground canisters. We can't use them anyway because Waste Management doesn't want to pick up from them.
Right. So,
but in the meantime, I'm looking at garbage bags all over the ground that until they come to pick up the garbage, they're strewn everywhere.
So it may be a possibility at the outcome of this litigation that is an option, that Lakewood does the trash collection. But that, they don't necessarily have to, but hopefully, we'll come to some sort of resolution. Either they're going to be reimbursing the associations in a more, let's say, more respectable amount that we expect to get back, or there's some sort of shared services, or they're doing it in totality. Now, as far as providing toters, that's also an option. We spoke to them about a number of years ago. We sent them a quote for toters. They weren't ready. They weren't willing to reimburse us at that time to provide them, but that might be something that is part of the settlement.
Okay. Now, my other question was, what justified that very super expensive building to house machinery? When we could have just put up a metal building to put machines in? Is there any reason why it had to be so expensive?
Well, the new facility is much larger than the current facility, and it will allow us to work on the bigger trucks. A lot of our bigger trucks have to be serviced outside. And what happens is on rainy days or even in the snow, when you have a plow truck that breaks down, you can't bring it inside to service it. The new building is going to be able to accommodate those larger trucks now.
That's not what I was saying. It could be as large as Methuselah. The thing is, it didn't have to be an expensive building like that. It could have been a metal building, which would have cost far less to house machines. Why do you need an expensive building to put machines in?
Well, I mean, it's just a matter of opinion. That is the design that our architects came up with.
And do you
I don't
have
know
to listen to
if
the
metal building would
architects?
have been any cheaper. I don't know that.
I'm sure there is, because there's lots of corporations and companies that house many machines that are metal buildings, and you know what I'm talking about. They're not expensive buildings. It's just for a machine. Why do you need such a lavish building? Every time I pass by, I just want to scream.
Well, the second floor is all office space as well. It's not just machines.
Did we need office spaces for what?
For our personnel.
Well, wouldn't you throw them in here, in Buckingham Hall? Allow certain space for them for offices? How big can these offices be? How many people are there?
All the halls are made up of activity rooms for the residents and the clubs.
Well, what about the administration building? Couldn't you put offices in there for them?
There is no space in the administration building. As a matter of fact, we're making space in the new building to take a lot of those file storages that we have there and move it into the new building.
The other question I have is, we should be allowed on very serious matters for us to vote, not just the board members, because that's only 6, 7, 8 people. I feel on important issues, we should have the vote, the homeowners. The vote should be brought to us, for us to vote, not just the board members. We represent this, true, in certain matters, but for important issues, we should be voting like other developments do. So why can't we do that?
Okay, thank you. Your point will be noted, ma'am. The next board will take that into consideration. Thank you very much. There you go.
Mary Ann, 538 C.
Okay, settle down, please.
In this room, Dorchester Hall.
So, there's no cameras presently, but anything will be up to the new board if they wish to put cameras.
Okay, because a couple weeks ago there was something very threatening happening in here, which involved the police, Lakewood.
Sure, I'm sure the new board will take that into consideration.
Something to think about, the safety of the people in here, I guess.
Sure.
Happy Dory, again. I want to make a recommendation to your board members who come on the council. Okay. I wanted to make a recommendation to the upcoming board, both the newbies and the ones we have left over. In terms of projects, I would like, when I was on the board, we had a list. And every week we go over, where are we here, where are we here, where are we here, we're going to do this, we're not going to do this. I would like the new reconstructed board to hold off on any of these projects that have been talked about by the prior board. For instance, we need to move all the recreational vehicles over across the street from Buckingham. No, Dorchester. We don't need to do this, okay? People are furious about the increases. Where are you spending them? Why are we buying this? Why are we buying that? I'd like to see a hold off on any of these projects that have been started by the people that were prior on the board. We got new trustees now. Let's set it down. Let's let the dust clear, and let's see what we really need to be doing before we just march straight ahead with what the prior board members want. Thank you.
This will be the last question right now. We need to get to the attorney's report next, please.
No problem. Joanne Glass, 451B Portsmouth. Question, someone earlier asked about the renting the hall out for events. What he was referencing was this church service that happened with a lot of people and children. When people rent out our hall, if somebody gets hurt, who pays, like who's liable? What does that fall under? Do they have to take out special liability insurance, and for how much? How does that happen if somebody gets seriously hurt in here? Because we don't know who the people are, hundreds of people that are in here. Nobody's vetting them, checking them, doing anything when they're here. And we're residents playing next door, whatever. That's why we're asking about the cameras also, because a lot of stuff is going on in here.
So, great question. Exposure to liability if there's an issue. Any event that's rented out, the association asks that that person, the applicant, submit an insurance. I don't recall what the insurance limits are right now, but they have to provide insurance, and they're responsible for indemnifying the association if there is an injury on the property.
So it would not come on us at all, no matter what kind of injury happens in here.
It's hard to give definite statements, but the association does its best. Right, the association does its best, and I remember drafting this particular resolution a couple years ago to transfer as much risk on the applicants as possible when they rent out space. It does not mean that the association never get sued by anybody that falls down.
And maybe we should be thinking about whether it's in our best interest for the few $100s a month that we may take in to maybe not do that, because we're talking hundreds of people are in these rooms sometimes. Okay? That's just my opinion.
Thank you, ma'am.
Present. I'm happy to the bullet, as he said, or someone else. Tom and Eve the bullet. I'm Randy Barrett from 295A. And this is a real pressing question concerning the $106 we were assessed. And actually, I almost feel like extortion because your master deed says you could put a lien on this. So it's a lien or pass. That's my first thought. So the woman or whoever was responsible for this oversight of our money cost us over $270,000 with the 106 assessment. Are they employed? Are they still here? And why are they still looking after our money? They should be fired.
The only assessment was the insurance premium assessment.
No, Todd said they underestimated the insurance. They did not keep up with it for the old building.
No.
And he specifically said we got less than we thought. Who is responsible for that? And they should not have anything to do with our money.
What do you mean? I say that you got less than we thought.
You exactly said that with the insurance. We did not get what we thought we would get. It was an oversight. They did not, apparently they didn't keep up with it. Those were your words. It was an oversight.
No, I don't recall saying any of that, but what we have discussed in these meetings is that the increase in premiums came in after the budget was ratified. We were not aware of it, and the board changed insurance brokers.
No, that is not the answer. The question is, you had said it was an oversight. They got less money for the insurance because somebody didn't keep up with it. You literally testified that you ate the bullet on that one.
I don't know what you're talking about in one meeting.
The building that went on fire, the maintenance building that you told us at a meeting that we were underinsured.
I never said we were underinsured. That came from the audience. That came from the audience. The building was insured to its value. Now, you can't, if you're going to build a new building that's different than the existing structure.
Not something that's multiple times bigger.
The insurance company's not going to pay for that. They paid for the damages. They paid for what they felt it was going to take to repair.
That is not what you said. I want, and whoever that's gone. We can't have somebody like that looking after our money.
Right, so just to be clear, you're talking about cash replacement value. That's different than what entails building a
Simply
different.
looking about underinsured for a building.
Not underinsured.
That we were assessed $270,000 because of their failure.
Underinsured means you insure a building and then it's
We
actually
were
less
assessed
than.
$270,000 because of that oversight. That is my point.
Thank you. Yes, they will. So we have our attorney's report. Greg.
I will do my best to make it as concise as possible. Yeah, in short, Lakewood lawsuit, we spoke about this. This is a lawsuit that Leisure Village filed several years ago against Lakewood Township regarding municipal service reimbursement. The township has failed to produce documents per court order. They were sanctioned by the judge for attorney's fees in the amount of $500. Eventually, they did turn over the documents that they were court ordered to produce. Those have been produced. The discovery end date was extended from December 2026 to February 27th, 2026. At the end of the discovery end date in February 2026, I imagine that there may be some type of a mediation or settlement or something. This is being handled by another law firm, Ansel Grimm. Not by my office, but obviously I'm here to give attorney's report for what's going on in your village. So that's the status of the lawsuit. Collections, our firm collected the fiscal year, December, January, February, $89,873.45. In March, it was $19,417.05 that our office collected. With the new board coming in place, I'm reviewing your bylaws to ensure that they're in compliance with all the various New Jersey laws that have come into effect. Since the last time they got adopted, there are quite a few. So really the purpose of this is to make a concise set of bylaws that everybody can digest and something that is workable for your community. I'm sure we'll be discussing this in the future at future meetings, so that will be just a continuous ongoing thing to make sure that your documents are in compliance with New Jersey law, because what's happening now is when I look in your documents, I have to look first I look into your documents, realize that they're not in compliance with New Jersey law, and then we have to kind of conflate the two. So this will make this a lot simpler and streamline the process. That's all I have.
Thank you, Ray.
Does the board realize that we have various committees, like the Documents Review Committee? You know we have that committee?
Yes, we were just discussing that.
Before we send everything to a lawyer at, I don't know, $400 an hour, we have various standing committees that you all need to look at, maybe check who the chairs are, who's on these committees. You as the board, the new board, needs to rely more on the standing committees before we go with the outside help. No offense. Now, my big question is the community of Orthodox that's building right next door to us. I was in that for all the meetings and what they agreed to and what they were going to do. Now they finished most of them along our fence line. They were supposed to put in shrubs, and they were supposed to put like an 8-foot white vinyl fence along there. There's nothing being done. They went, they pulled up every last twig all along the fence line. I'd like to know what your report is to this community, why that's not being done, and what are you going to do and when?
Great question.
I know it's a great question. What's the answer?
Good question. When this issue was presented, I was in contact with the town on this issue. I was assured that they would comply with all the regulations for buffer zone. Right.
Yeah.
None of that has happened. Since then, it has been difficult to get in touch with them, but I will certainly continue trying to get.
They've got people working over there. You got big.
Not the adjacent landowner, but I'm not going to speak about what's going on with the township, but I will continue following up with them to try to get a response as to
Well,
how.
when's the last time you spoke to them?
Well, when the issue first arose, maybe 4 months ago.
4 months ago.
Right.
And nothing happening? I mean, there's nothing happening because I drive by there and check it. Our poor people are living under decks and all this stuff. I want to know what you're going to do.
Great question. I will continue following up, and I will be in contact with the new board about it. We will discuss it, and I will make sure we stay on it.
That's all you're gonna do. I mean, you can talk to the board till you're blue in the face.
Well, the alternative is we file a lawsuit, right?
Yeah, have we filed a lawsuit? Okay, because there's nothing along that fence line protecting our people. What kind of a lawsuit would that be?
But, well, it depends who you're suing, but it would likely be in order to show cause to compel specific performance.
Okay.
Okay. President's report. All I'd like to say is, listen, it's been an honor for me to serve in this community for the past 3.5 years, and I wish the new board nothing but the best of luck, okay, moving forward. With that, I think that Glenn also has an opportunity, he would like to just say a few things. I'll let Glenn speak.
Thanks, Tom. As many of you may know, this is my last meeting, and what you may not know is that every decision that I made as a board member had the best interest of this association and as the residents at hand. I decided that I can no longer do this because I came in here with a heart to do the right thing, and every time I come in here, people tell me how I'm a clown, a crook, I'm no good, and it's very disheartening. And I felt it's important for me to tell you people that it's not helping. I, like you, had my concerns, and that's why I ran for the board. And I came on here, and it is a very grueling job. You don't get paid, you don't get thanked, you don't get anything. Once in a while, you may get a award. But I hope that the next board, you'll treat a little bit better than you treated us. If you really feel convicted about your community, join a committee, join the board, do something. Don't get up here and tell us how ineffective we are, how bad we are. Because I can tell you, I lay my head down every night knowing that I did the best job that I can do for you. And I will continue on a committee where I won't have to face the criticism and the anger that you guys come. People, and you know who you are, you come in here and all you do is incite anger. You look for that I got your moment to try to catch us doing something wrong, when all we do is try to help everybody in this community. Please treat the next board with respect. That's all I ask. And may God bless you all, and I wish you all a good time.
Thank you, Glenn. Now we're going to move into the introduction of the newly elected trustees. So can the newly elected trustees come up to the front, please? So we have Deborah Forte, Bobby Kiernan, Paulette Kareem, and Susan Farrer. So I'd like to make a motion to adjourn this meeting so that we can swear in our new officers. Second? Second, I see. Thank you. So now I'd like to make a motion to open up the reorganization meeting at 9:42. Sandy made the motion. Your name in? Donna, second.
we'll do everyone at the same time, so it's going to sound a little interesting. But we'll do our best. If you could raise your right hand, please. I, please say your name. Do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and the bylaws of this association, and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, under the authority of the people and members of this association, under the authority of the people and members of this association, and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of the office of trustee of the original Leisure Village Association, according to the best of my ability. So help me God. Congratulations. So now we're just going to suspend this meeting. We're going to have an election of the officers, and we'll be back in a few minutes. So if you'd like to stick around, please welcome. We're going to announce them. If the new trustees can please come up. All right, so I wanted to congratulate the officers for the association that the new trustees just voted in. President will be Thomas Kotroki. Vice President will be Deborah Forte. Treasurer will be Judy Reeves. Secretary will be Susan Farrell.
I can make a motion to reaffirm by the bylaws.
A second.
I'll second.
Okay. Make a motion to reaffirm rules and regulations.
I'll second.
Either one.
Make a motion to reaffirm standard operations and procedures. Second. And make a motion for new signatures for the banks. That's all the trustees. The dates for the meeting will be announced. And I'd like to make a motion to adjourn this meeting.